All right, how you guys? Wednesday has passed. Thursday has passed. Candace, where's your budget video? I got it for y'all, don't worry. But we're going to talk about this before we get into it, okay? So, you guys know I've been having like this tug of war within myself of touching my 401k. I decided not to touch it. It's only the smartest thing to do because it will get taxed. You figure when you put money into your 401k, that money's not being taxed. So you figure if you're going to deduct from your 401k, it will get taxed because now it's considered as income. So I'm not touching that. And I just had to be smart. Sometimes you just get emotional and you're just like, your thinking is not all the way clear. And that's how my thinking has been. But your girl's getting on track. So I'm not touching my 401k. I know another thing I had to tell myself is, Candace, don't be too hard on yourself. Why? Because when you were at your full-time job, you knew you can do your full-time job part-time and be okay. But now, Candace, what are you doing? You're working for almost $20 per hour less, and you're still part-time. So girl, you're gonna need some money. And that's what I'm gonna do. So it's just like my thinking is like, I'm so stuck on making so much money and that I should be part-time and still be okay, but that's not the case. Like, I would really have to work my butt off. Well, not work my butt off, but more than 40 hours per week to make up the equivalent of what I would have been making part-time at my full-time job. So I just had to, like, come to the realization, like, girl, you're making 1/3 of the money and you're still part-time and your hours are not consistent at Kohl's. Now, one other thing I do want to mention, I have not worked at Amazon recently, like in the past couple of weeks, and that's okay. That's okay. And the reason why I say that is because, I'm just giving myself time to relax from Amazon because I've already told y'all they're confusing me. And Amazon is a job that can be there one day and not be there the next day, okay? Just because of how they operate, they're quick to try to fire people. Let's put it like that. I mean, if you're doing your job, good, but like I was calling out and they were giving me warnings, and then I have another video on it, okay? So yeah, so my plan is, Candace, you're gonna need money. So that's what you saved up for. That's what you saved up for. So I'm giving myself $5,000. I said to borrow, but if I never pay it back, that's okay. I just can't try to, at least not right now. Not right now. I can't afford to be thinking about paying it back. I will not always be at Kohl's. Kohl's will not always be my primary source. Probably by next year, I might start looking into other, like corporate jobs or just higher paying jobs. I don't know yet, but I just know that Kohl's, because I tell you, some days I'm just like, feel like walking out. I don't know how long I'm going to be there for, but for right now, your girl's going to pull through, get whatever paycheck she can, and keep it moving. So I told myself, Candace, give yourself $5,000 to last the rest of the year. So that just means that I know I'm going to have to borrow some money some weeks and throughout the rest of the year. I just don't want to overdo it. I don't want to give myself too much leniency. So, yes. Now I will say, out of that 5,000 so far, we have already touched 8,000. 8,000. We already borrowed or used up 800 in the month of May, because you guys know there was like a week or two that I did not work. And yeah, I needed money. So We are starting off June with $4,200. Now I'm going to keep track of this. Now I also did make sure that my one savings account is the only savings account I will pull from for this, so it has $4,200 in there. Now let's go ahead and hop into my budgeting video. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a background first before we get into it. And yeah, give me one moment. All right, so here we go. So for this week, we're in the pink. I didn't work at Amazon, so I only had Kohl's. So after taxes being taken out, I'm bringing home $287.27. Now we'll move over here and we will look at my bills. Give me a moment. So my budgeted for my Capital One large credit card was $25, but it was only $9. Dominion Power is on a payment plan, so that's $141. That stays consistent, and they look at it over every year. So it may increase or decrease when the year comes around, but other than that, nothing. School loan, like in May. June, I'm not paying towards it. It's a federal school loan. There's no interest being accrued, and up to this point, up until May, I was making my $128 payment, but for right now, because of my income, we're just gonna keep that at zero. And I had car tax. So in Virginia, yes, you pay taxes on your car when you get it, but you still have to pay a property tax on it. So I have 2 cars now, so there we go. That was $134.34. And then we have to put up rent. So once again, for rent, I'm splitting that up. Every paycheck, I like to put aside $112.50. Now, I will say it does leave me with a little bit of overage in that checking account that I'm using for, or savings account that I'm using for, but that's good. That could just be saved up for a rainy day. It's not much. It's like $10, $15, but we know that stuff adds up. So I will still continue to do that. So with these bills and my rent, that brings us to $396.84. So you see, I'm already at a deficit right there, which is okay. It's okay. Now let's get into my cash envelopes. There's not much to really talk about here. I already told you guys what I've done. Now my allowance is not cash. It's this transfer. But I do put that under the allowance because that's like a variable. Not under allowance, but under my cash envelopes because that is a variable. But I gave myself $10. I wasn't going to give myself anything, but I'm saying I'm the one working my butt off harder than I was at my full-time job. So I deserve something, So I will still continue to give myself an allowance, whether it's $5, $10. It won't be more than $25 per week, that's for sure. But I've told myself I still should get something. So I gave myself $10. We did groceries, which I already did a grocery haul and shared that with y'all. That was $25. Now this right here, this maintenance one, I'm just going to pay that. That's going to just be included with my next credit card bill. $25 is not much. I don't have $25 to be putting away. I'm borrowing money as it is. So yeah, that's okay. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. We got the $10 for the dogs. I do have to still get their dog food. I will get it today. I usually get them a big bag. So it lasts them a couple weeks. And then we have laundry because I need to do our bedding. So between all of these things, we're doing $60. Once again, my allowance is just a transfer into my own personal debit card. So I'll only withdrew $50, and that's where the funds were allocated. Groceries, dogs, and laundry. I unfortunately can't put anything away for the $50 savings fund. House items, we don't need anything, and food out. We're not doing that. We haven't eaten out. If James do want to eat out, he has used his own work money, so that has come in handy. So let's talk about this. How much did I have to borrow? So for my savings, for week 2, I had to borrow $170 from my savings, which once again, I know my savings is there for a reason. I just have to be mindful and stop being so tunnel vision about my plans, because that money, I just want to save it up like Candace, but you're in need of money. You're either going to work your butt off or you're going to use savings, and I don't want to work 40 hours or more at a job. Like, I rather work 40 hours or more at a real full-time job versus, 20 hours here at Kohl's, 20 hours here at Amazon. I mean, for right now, especially for the summer months, I'm just going to take it easy. I do want to make sure that this 5,000 in total stretches from May to the end of the year, basically. And we'll see how this works out. Let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you for joining me for my budgeting video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.